Welcome back to the final segment of Investing with Confidence. I am your host, Joshua David. And if you're just tuning in, I was talking about different plans and different rules within trading and investment plans, whether you're in your younger years, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or a little bit older, 60s, 70s, or even 80s. There's strategies, and it doesn't matter where you're at in your life. You need a strategy that's specific for you. And how you do that is you learn the techniques and strategies based on what you need, not what a broker needs, not what Wall Street needs, your goals and objectives. If you happen to miss 2 tickets for the investing class that we do right here in Bloomington, you got to call right now. Call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410. When you call in right now and register for that class, you can receive a Cryptocurrency Foundations course. There's topics covered like the history of cryptocurrency, 5 steps to using cryptocurrency, but also understanding the blockchain technology. This is the future. It's happening now. It's been happening for several years. It's just finally becoming mainstream. And understanding how this actually works now could potentially benefit you in the future. And now you want to get into, I guess, continue a discussion on retirement strategies and techniques and what people do. Do people do things to just get by? Do people things to have a better life in retirement? You want to talk about the difference between a cutback retirement, not a football cutback, but a cutback retirement and an add-on retirement. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is this, and we see this a lot, that the advice that Wall Street gives, you see articles all the time that cover this, is to learn to live on less. Cut back on the things that maybe you were enjoying before. Live more frugally. And actually, that's the same advice that oftentimes is given while you're still working. Learn to live on less so you'll have more when you retire.
Boring.
Then you go into retirement, and now they're saying you got to cut back.
You're putting me to sleep. This is boring.
Sorry, well, let's try to turn that around.
There you go.
Okay, but you don't want to take a piece of paper on your first day of retirement and start writing down the things you need to cut out of your life. Why not take that piece of paper and write down the things you want to add to your life?
How about take a novel and do that? A book.
Okay, well, that
was a big word. I know. A book.
I wasn't quite sure where you're going with that, but you went somewhere.
The potential to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and why do people find themselves in that cut back position? Well, number one, they haven't saved enough. They've maybe started too late. So the first thing you want to do, if you're still working, if you haven't retired and you've got some years ahead of you, start investing now. Start doing something to build up your retirement accounts so you don't have to worry about the cutback issue. And then also, and this is a big one, and I kind of referenced it before, people don't know how to generate income off of their retirement accounts. When you retire, one of the main things, probably the main thing that you relied on to pay the bills and keep yourself alive was the income from your job. When you retire, that is gone, and something else has to now be relied on. It used to be for a lot of people pension funds, but those are pretty much gone now. Only about 4% of the people in the country have pension plans. But what it means is that the income strategies that I talked about that you should learn while you're young, while you're still working and in your accumulation phase, those can also be used in your retirement years and used in a way that allows you to take just a small portion of what you have worked hard for, using this leverage that we talked about before, using one of the leveraged assets where a small amount in an investment account can give you a multiple of that amount. The leverage can be 10 to 1, 20 to 1, 50 to 1, 100 to 1. That means that every dollar you invest may give you the opportunity to control $100 worth of something for every dollar. That's leverage, but you also do that with minimal risk. So you have a potential for some really attractive returns with minimal risk that you can participate in when you retire as well as when you're still working.
You had mentioned something interesting there. You talked about when you retire, what you relied on all that time was your income, and that's gone. No, I want to talk to our listeners for a second. If you have ever been unemployed during your life, which most people probably have at one point for hopefully a short period of time, or some people a long period of time, how did that feel? Did you feel comfortable? Did you feel like you could go do things, or did you feel like you had to stop doing certain things just to have enough money to get by? Well, don't wait till retirement and say, what am I going to do now? Remember
Right.
that feeling that you had then? Don't let that happen at retirement. And that's why Al's talking about start investing now, start investing properly right now, and utilize that to hopefully have the potential to build a retirement bucket, but have the potential to use that or create income during retirement.
Right.
So I want to give away some tickets for an investing class for people, Al, that want to understand and learn how to do that. Learn the techniques on how to not just be unemployed when you're retired, having the potential to generate income during those times. Call 952-814-4410 for an investing class to learn those techniques and concepts right here in Bloomington. Al teaches these 952-814-4410 or text the word invest to the number 484848. When you do that, you're going to receive a link back. You got to click the link, but we're going to have one of our associates call you within an hour after you text as well if you didn't get a chance to click that link and register for that class. When you do this, when you call in or register, you're going to receive a Cryptocurrency Foundations course. Now, we talk about retirement and people that are taking their retirements or going into those golden years and not having enough. You mentioned something very interesting. I want our listeners to just realize what you said there. You mentioned using the right assets and taking a smaller portion of what you have in your wealth bucket, whether it's 401k, IRA, taking a small portion of that and using the proper leveraged assets. So people don't actually take everything they have
Correct.
and invest it in the market. That is very risky. That's what Wall Street's going to do to you. If you go to a broker right now and say, hey, I have $100,000 or $200,000 or $500,000 that I want to invest in the market, they're going to throw you in the market at all-time highs. Think about that. If you're putting your money in a market at all-time highs, actually this last week it's dropped a little bit, you are in a very, very risky, now think about that, a risky situation. Take small portions of that, learn how to short the market, which is having the potential to generate income in a down market. How do you help people learn those concepts to take small portions, but a lot of that is having a community behind them, having a community of traders and investors on how to do that. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, first of all, you have to know what those opportunities are. You have to know what the assets are that you can use to get the leverage. You have to know how to use those particular assets to benefit in different market directions. And regardless of what you're doing and how you're addressing the markets or what portion of the financial markets you're looking at, protection is the number one thing you have to be concerned with. You know, we see way too many people that come in that got just devastated in the year 2008 when they retired maybe in 2007 and found 40 to 60% of what they had worked for 40 years for gone, just like it evaporated, which it didn't do. It just transferred into somebody else's account. But protection is the number one thing, not even just when you retire, but even when you start at a younger age. Whenever you're investing, always make sure that you understand how to protect what you have. But in retirement, you can't let what you have worked hard for be taken away from you. I think I mentioned this last week, but I'm going to mention it again because I have one student come in who said after listening to us on the radio, she went to the plan sponsor for her 401k and said, how am I protected? How can I be protected? The answer she got was, you can't. Because with 401k
That's
accounts...
a joke, isn't it?
No, it's not a joke. I wish it was...
But it's a joke.
Well, I see where you're going with that, yeah. It's not a funny joke. It's a sad joke.
It's terrible.
Because in the types of investments that you have access to in your employer-sponsored retirement plans, if it's a mutual fund or stock or ETFs, which only will benefit you if the market goes up, you can't, in a 401k, you can't have stop losses. You can't use... protection. You can't have an insurance policy on your portfolio, which we show you how to do when you come into this free class. So you're looking at maybe getting 4 or 5% returns, but exposing yourself to 40, 50, 60% drawdowns.
That's a big difference.
Not a good risk reward. So we can help you with that. We can show you how to make sure that losses are really kept to small losses. A small loss can never become a big loss. So it's okay to understand how to do that, but you have to know how to protect yourself. And the only thing that you really have control over is your retirement money. It's not Social Security, it's not pensions, but if you need to know how to take control of and get the maximum benefit out of your retirement portfolio.
That's a scary thing, Al. That's a scary thing. If somebody has the potential for a 5 to 7% return and the potential of a 20, 30, 40, 50% loss in the market,
Right.
that's not protecting your money. That's hoping and guessing, and that is what I call gambling. I was doing a retirement calculator actually today, and the difference between somebody waiting for 1 year
Yes.
of starting to invest can make a huge impact if someone were to start today or start a year from today. So start now with an investing class to learn how to get started in the markets, learn how to protect what you have, learn how to grow that, and have the potential to create income even during retirement. So one last set of tickets for the investing class that we do right here in Bloomington. Call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410. When you do that, you're going to receive a Cryptocurrency Foundations course. Also text the word invest to the number 484848. When you do that, you're going to receive a link back. Click the link, pick a date. You're going to receive that Cryptocurrency Foundations course when you do that. Al, real quick, words of wisdom or a OTA tip.
Okay, well, there. No matter where you are now, there is a right path for you to follow to help get you to where you're going next. Remember, the journey from novice investor to market mastery becomes much more realistic when you understand what you were doing and why you were doing it.
You got to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and start. That's the most important thing is start today. Starts with an investing class here in Bloomington. 952-814-4410 for 2 tickets right here in Bloomington. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my friends.